Hello everyone. Today, our group will be presenting a translation and analysis based on an article called "Evaluating the Role of Driving Institutes in Road Safety." But first, we're going to introduce ourselves. My name is Fazana Zaida binti Fakrul Azam. I am the presentation lead and I will be translating paragraph 10 until 12.
Hello everyone, my name is Nia Anissa binti Muhammad Nazri and I am the contextual researcher and I translated the title and paragraph 1 and 2.
Hi, my name is Rita Nadia, and I will be presenting my role as the language analyst focusing on grammar, and I will be translating paragraph 3 and 4.
Hello everyone, my name is Nur Aisa Khadija binti Ahmad. I am the language analyst for syntax and I will be translating paragraph 5 and 6.
Hello everyone, my name is Maifatin Kisina binti Ahmad and I am the translation strategist for this project. I have translated paragraph 7 to 9 and I'll be focusing on tone, word choice, cultural adaptation, and the use of adaptation in translation.
So, this is our original article that we will translate and analyze. So now I'm going to let the first presenter to present their part. Nia Anissa.
Okay, so for my role today, I am the contextual researcher. So as the contextual researcher for this translation project, I will explain the background and context of the article. This article discusses the role of driving institutes in improving road safety in Malaysia. It begins by highlighting how public reactions to road accidents usually move in two directions, where people either blame drivers for being careless or demand stricter law enforcement from authorities. So for the title, I translated nilai semula peranan institut memandu dalam keselamatan jalan raya as re-evaluating the role of driving institutes in road safety. I chose the word re-evaluating because it reflects a critical and formal tone which is suitable for an opinion-based article. Next, in the first paragraph, I focused on maintaining a formal tone while ensuring the sentence sounds natural in English. For example, the phrase narrative awam was translated as public discourse. Discourse is basically a spoken communication or written communication because it is more appropriate in academic and formal contexts. Because if we translated it into public narratives, it wouldn't sound too formal, especially for this article. So I also kept the structure clear by simplifying phrases like society tends to blame drivers and the public calls for stricter law enforcement. Next, in the second paragraph, the article introduces the Malaysian context, mentioning that there are over 30 million registered vehicles. This shows how significant road safety is in Malaysia, as a large number of vehicles increases the risk of accidents. Because of this, driving institutes play an important role in shaping responsible drivers. So during the translation, I restructured the sentence to improve clarity since the original Malay version is quite long. For example, memberi kesan langsung kepada was translated as has a direct impact on, which is a common academic phrase and it is more formal for this context of article. I also adapted barisan hadapan which to key component instead of translating it literally as front line to make it sound more natural in English. So overall, I avoided direct translation and focused on clarity, accuracy, and maintaining a formal tone. This section is important because it sets the context and shows why driving institutes are a key part of improving road safety in Malaysia. That is all from me. So I will pass the presentation over to Lisa Nadia.
Okay, hi everyone. Um, in this translation, my main responsibility was to ensure that the text is grammatically accurate, clear, and natural in English, while still maintaining the original meaning. So I will be focusing on two aspects, which are the use of present tense and the use of passive voice. So first and foremost, I will explain the use of present tense. In English, we use present tense to describe facts and general truths, especially in formal or academic writing. Since this article discusses road safety and statistics, most of the information is still relevant today. So for the example that I've given is statistik menunjukkan lebih 5,000 kematian. And I translated the original text to statistic shows that more than 5,000 deaths. Here I use show instead of show because this is not a past event but an ongoing fact. So this choice ensures that the translation follows correct grammatical rules and sounds natural in English. Okay, for the next part is I will explain the use of passive voice. In formal and academic writing, passive voice is often used to make the tone more objective and professional, especially when the focus is on the result rather than the subject. For example, lebih 5,000 kematian akibat kemalangan jalan raya direkodkan setiap tahun was translated to more than 5,000 deaths are recorded each year. Here I use passive voice because the focus is on deaths, not on who recorded them. So by changing it to passive voice, it makes the sentence sound more formal and suitable for an academic or newspaper style article. So that's all from me. I will pass it to Nur Alisa.
Thank you, Risa. So, for my role as the language analyst focusing on syntax, my main focus was improving sentence structure, clarity, and readability in the translated text by restructuring Malay sentences into more natural English forms. Instead of translating word for word, I focus on how sentences are organized and how ideas flow in English. So the first example, sentence structure. Sentence structure refers to how words and ideas are arranged in a sentence. For example, in paragraph 5, the original sentence is di sinilah institut Fuck, I typo kat situ. Go. Thank you, Risa. Now I'll be presenting my part. So as my role as the language analyst focusing on syntax, my main focus was improving sentence structure, clarity, and readability in the translated text by restructuring Malay sentences into more natural English forms. Instead of translating word for word, I focus on how sentences are organized and how ideas flows in English. One of the main challenges in translate as a syntax analyst is that Malay sentences are often long and contain multiple ideas in one sentence. They are usually connected using words like dan, yang, and serta. However, in English, this structure can sound too heavy or unclear if translated directly. Because of this, I focus on restructuring sentences by breaking long ideas into clearer structures and improving the flow between clauses. For example, example one, sentence structure. Sentence structure refers to how words and ideas are arranged in a sentence. In paragraph 5, the original sentence is, di sinilah institut memandu memainkan peranan penting sebagai ruang sosialisasi awal budaya pemanduan. A direct translation would be, this is where driving institutes play an important role as an early socialization space of driving culture. I'm sorry. As a syntax analyst, I focus. I'm sorry. This sentence uses an inverted structure, starting with "this is where," which is not commonly used in formal English writing. In addition, although this inilah adds emphasis in Malay, I choose not to translate it directly because it sounds less formal and slightly conversational in English. Instead, I conveyed the emphasis through sentence structure and word choice. So, I restructure it into driving institutes play a crucial role as an early platform for the socialization of driving culture. This improves clarity because the subject is placed at the beginning, making the sentence more direct and easier to understand, while still maintaining the emphasis. Next, example 2, parallel structure. Parallel structure refers to using consistent grammatical forms in connected parts of a sentence. The examples are, jurati tidak sekadar mengajar kemahiran teknikal, tetapi membentuk tanggungjawab dan kesedaran keselamatan dalam diri pelatih. The direct translation is, instructors not only teach technical skills but shape responsibility and safety awareness within trainees. As a syntax analyst, I focus on parallel structure, which refers to using consistent grammatical forms in connected parts of a sentence. In this case, the structure not only but was not fully balanced. So I revised it into, instructors not only teach technical skills but also cultivate a sense of responsibility and safety awareness among trainees. This makes the sentence more balanced and improves the rhythm and overall flow. Next, clause organization. Clause organization refers to how main ideas and supporting details are arranged within a sentence. In paragraph 6, the sentence is, melalui kurikulum pendidikan pemandu yang diselia Jabatan Pengangkutan Jalan, setiap calon menjalani latihan teori, praktikal dan penilaian kompetensi sebelum layak memandu di jalan raya. A direct translation produced a long and complex sentence. I focus on clause organization, so I reorganize the structure into, through the driver education curriculum supervised by the Jabatan Pengangkutan Jalan, every candidate undergoes theoretical and practical training, as well as competency assessments, before being qualified to drive on public roads. So this improves clarity by organizing the sentence into a logical sequence: context, action, then condition, making it easier for readers to follow. By applying these concepts, I was able to make the translation clearer, more natural, and more suitable for an English-speaking audience. Thank you. I'll be passing it now to Mai.
So, hello everyone. I am the translation strategist for this project, and I'll be focusing on presenting. I'll be focusing on maintaining a formal tone, making appropriate word choices, and applying cultural adaptation to ensure the translation is clear and neutral for an English-speaking audience. So, I'll be explaining the example one, which is tone. For tone, I ensure that the translation maintains a formal and academic style, as the text discusses a serious issue related to road safety and public perception. The original text is walaupun sering dipandang rendah dengan stigma kedai lesen. So I have translated it as even though driving institutes are often viewed negatively. So here I chose the phrase viewed negatively instead of looked down on because it sounds more neutral and objective. The phrase looked down on carries a slightly emotional or informal tone, which is not suitable for a formal writing. So, in contrast, viewed negatively reflects a more analytical perspective, which is more better with the argumentative nature of the text. Next. Alright, so here I'll be explaining the Second example, which is word choice. For word choice, I focus on selecting vocabulary that is commonly used in formal English and accurately reflects the intended meaning of the source text. The original text here is, selain itu, institut membantu berfungsi sebagai penapis keselamatan, khususnya bagi golongan muda berusia 16 hingga 25 tahun yang dikenal pasti sebagai kumpulan berisiko tinggi dalam statistik kemalangan. So, I have translated it as, besides that, driving institutes functions as a safety filter, especially for young individuals aged 16 to 25 who are identified as a high risk group in accident statistics. So here, I chose to translate it, penapis keselamatan as safety filter instead of safety guard because it is more suitable. Next, for example 3, which is cultural adaptation. The original text is, jurulatih turut memikul beban membetulkan sikap pelatih yang datang tanpa disiplin atau kesedaran keselamatan asas. So I have translated it as, instructors also bear the responsibility of correcting the attitudes of trainees who lack discipline or basic safety awareness. So the phrase memikul beban literally means to carry a burden, but translating it directly would sound too literal and slightly awkward in formal English. So therefore, I have adapted it to bear the responsibility, which conveys the same meaning but fits better within the conventions of formal English writing. Next. So lastly, I have applied adaptation to improve clarity and readability. So the original text here is, pembelajaran tidak formal melalui rakan atau keluarga boleh mengekalkan tabiat pemanduan berisiko. I have translated the text as informal learning through friends or family may reinforce risky driving habit. So I'm sorry for my mistake there, but the main thing word should be reinforce. So instead of using the direct translation maintain, I have choose the word reinforce because it accurately reflects the idea that these risky behaviors are not only continue but also strengthen over time. So the word maintain suggests keeping something at the same level, whereas reinforce implies making it stronger and better. That's all from me. Now I'll be passing to the next presenter.
Okay, as a presentation lead, I have two examples, and the first one is to improve the clarity of the sentences. And I chose the example from the original text is, pelaksanaan sistem e-testing menggunakan teknologi sensor dan kamera meningkatkan ketulusan serta mengurangkan unsur subjektif dalam penilaian. And translated, it's going to be the implementation of an e-testing system using sensor and camera technology enhances transparency and reduces subjective elements in assessment. So the original sentence states that the implementation of an e-testing system using sensor and camera technology enhances transparency and reduces subjective elements in assessment. But in the translated version, we use the phrase enhances transparency. So the reason I chose this is because it's to make the idea of improvement very clear and easy to understand in English. If we translate the sentence too literally, the meaning might become less impactful and sound a bit unnatural in academic English. So instead, we focus on expressing the core idea, which is fairness and objectivity in the assessment system. Um, the phrase enhances transparency is used because it clearly shows the system becomes more open and accountable. And meanwhile, reduces subjective elements is used to highlight that the system minimizes personal biases in evaluation. So this is pretty important because subjectivity often leads to inconsistency, so reducing reflects a stronger and more reliable system. And next, next example is to emphasize the impact. And the original text is transformasi ini memperkukuh kredibiliti institut memandu sebagai institusi latihan profesional yang lebih terus dan berstandard. Whereas when it's translated, it's going to be this transformation strengthens the credibility of driving institutes and ensures that the institution remains relevant and trustworthy. So the reason for this choice is to highlight the overall effect of the transformation. So instead of me translating word by word, we focus on what the sentence is trying to achieve, which is showing improvement in reputation and trust. The phrase strengthens the credibility is powerful because it summarizes the impact in a clear and professional way. So it shows that the transformation does not only change process but also improves how the institution is perceived. So additionally, the idea of being more transparent and standardized supports this credibility by showing that the institution is becoming more professional and reliable. I'm going to proceed to my part next. So I will explain the key points from all of the paragraphs, the overall message of the article, the strengths of our translation, and the challenges faced by the group, and also a short conclusion by me and all of my teammates. So um, the improvements is wait ni akak jap kat part tu. Sekejap. So, based on all of the paragraphs of the article and what my teammates have explained, there are several important improvements and solutions that are highlighted. So, one key improvement is the use of e-testing systems with sensor and camera technology, and the other one is the transformation of driving institutes into is the transformation of driving institutes into a more professional training center. So, in addition, driving institutes are encouraged to expand their role beyond basic driving lessons. They can become more than that. They can become more than just driving institutes, like more than just a place to obtain a license, but also evolving into full educational and safety development centers. So the overall message of the article is that driving institutes play a very important and often underestimated role in road safety in Malaysia. So the article emphasizes that road accidents are not only caused by drivers but also linked to the quality of the training they receive, mainly in driving institutes. So since human error contributes to more than 80% of road accidents, proper education and training become extremely important. Therefore, driving institutes are presented as the first line of defense in road safety, by shaping responsible driving behavior just from the beginning. So this article also challenges the negative stigma of driving school being just licensed shop and instead highlights their true role as educational and safety institutions. Next, I will explain the strengths of our translation. So first, our translation focuses on accuracy and clarity of meaning. So we ensured credibility and things like safety and responsibility are clearly expressed in English, like based on the paragraph that is focused on the safety and responsibility of driving institute. So that's what we're expressing very clearly in the translated version. So second, we maintain a formal and academic tone, which is suitable for the context. And third, we paid attention to impact and emphasizes, especially when translating key phrases. And lastly, we also ensured consistency. So overall, our translation not only conveys the meaning but also improves readability and professionalism based on the context and content. However, during the translation process, we also face some challenges, and one of them is having to understand formal and technical terminology, especially related to road safety and institutional systems. Another one is maintaining meaning while avoiding literal translation. Some Malay expressions cannot be translated word for word into English without losing clarity or sounding a bit unnatural. We also face difficulty in balancing accuracy, and readability. Whilst we also face, I'm sorry, we also face difficulty in balancing accuracy and readability, ensuring that the translation remains faithful to the original text while still sounding smooth and natural in English. So, in conclusion, this article highlights the important role of driving institutes in improving road safety in Malaysia. They are not just places for licensing, but key institutions also shape responsible drivers and reduce accident risk through proper education and training. So overall, this project helped us all understand both linguistic and real-world significance of road safety education. Thank you for listening.
So what I can conclude as the contextual researcher for this translation project is that the introduction of the article highlights the importance of looking beyond drivers and law enforcement when discussing road safety. So by placing driving institutes within the Malaysian context, it shows that they play a crucial role in shaping responsible driving behavior. So this emphasizes that improving road safety is not only about enforcement but also about strengthening the quality and impact of driver education. So that was the context of the article. And in translating that, we wanted to emphasize the same message that it was in Malay for English readers. So we would use terms that fits the context and formal tone. So it will match the same seriousness of the message in the original article. So that is all from me. Thank you.
Okay, for me, in conclusion, our translation highlights the importance of driving institutes as a key part of road safety in Malaysia, not just in teaching technical skills, but also in shaping responsible, safety conscious drivers. And from a language perspective, we ensure that the translation is clear, accurate, and appropriate for a formal context by using correct grammar, suitable tone, and effective sentence structure. Overall, this thus shows that translation is not just about changing words from one language to another, but also delivering meaning in a way that is natural, precise, and impactful for the target audience. Thank you.
Alisa or Mai, do you want to make your conclusion?
All right. So in conclusion, my role as the translation strategist here was to ensure that the translation is not only accurate but also natural and suitable for the target audience. So after I translated the text, I reviewed my word choices, tone, and sentence structures to make sure the meaning was actually preserved while still sounding fluent in English. So overall, this process shows that effective translation is not just about converting words from one language to another, but it's about interpreting the meaning and presenting it in a way that is clear, professional, and appropriate for the reader. That's all from me.
In conclusion, my role as a syntax analyst focused on improving sentence structure, parallel structure, and clause organization to enhance clarity and readability. By restructuring sentences and avoiding overly literal translation, I ensure that the text follows natural English patterns. This demonstrates that effective translation requires not only language knowledge, but also an understanding of how ideas are structured in target language. Overall, this project improved our awareness of how language structure and meaning work together in translation. That is all from me. Thank you.
That is all from us. Bye bye.
Bye.